What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for final Game Week 38. So the last potential video of this season is upon us, don't worry, we'll be doing a deadline stream potentially 90 minutes before the deadline. So hopefully I'll see you guys there, but for this one, probably going to be the last short form video unless I choose to make one closer to the deadline. Now as always, at this latter stage of this season, I'll be kind of combining the ultimate guide with my team selection, so we'll be going over the projected goals and predicted clean sheets. Will that hopefully give us some insight into what's going to happen in Game Week 38 potentially? We're going to be looking at potential differentials, potential punts, before finally looking at my own transfer plan, where I will definitely be using my one free transfer. I'll also be giving you guys a quick recap of how Game Week 37 ended now that all the football has happened. So if that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over a quick recap of how Game Week 37 went, as you guys can see unfortunately on the right hand side, it was a red arrow. 51 points scored plus or minus 4 took us to 47. Now that was a small red arrow to the 40k mark, which is still a respectable rank, but obviously would have loved it to be a bit higher. So let's just see where we can finish at the end of the season, hopefully within the top 40k, at least we get a green arrow. But in the comments down below, how did Game Week 37 go for you guys? And what's that overall rank looking like going into final Game Week 38? Now with one eye on Game Week 38, we got one free transfer and 2.7 in the bank. So a small upgrade can be made if you want to do it. Now the majority of players I've already kind of spoken about in my transfer plan, so let's go over the three that featured on Tuesday, as well as Monday with that Liverpool fixture. So I had three players, namely Guardiola, Salah and Eze, and as you guys can see, both players that started their games, Guardiola and Salah, ended up blanking, whereas Eze I think needed 9 minutes to score a goal. So I was a little bit baited when I saw that Eze started instead of Eze in that Crystal Palace lineup, but I was quite happy to see that Eze still outperformed Salah even though he started the fixture. So the red arrow was saved, I guess, by that Eze goal quite a bit, as he is still quite a bit of a differential. In terms of Salah, Guardiola losing their clean sheet right in the last minute, I think. The Man City effective ownership though of the defense is pretty high, so losing the clean sheet might actually have been a dub. Then with Salah, he was quite highly owned in terms of effective ownership, so I was hoping that he would blank. But as a Liverpool fan, wasn't too impressed by their performance against Brighton. So not much came from those final days of Game Week 37. We saw a slight rank movement, I think from around 39k to 40k, but the red arrows still stayed pretty constant. Let's just go over quickly how the rest of the team performed. In terms of our bench, we had Verbruggen, who obviously lost the clean sheet against Liverpool, and then Murphy also came off our bench for the 2-pointer. Dan Burnley benched him, got a 1-pointer. Kiwior was the big one though. Out of my Arsenal defenders, I got this 50-50 quite a bit wrong, and he stayed on the pitch for the entire game and got that extra bonus point. Now Martinez did outperform Verbruggen. It's the back-to-back clean sheets for the 6-pointer, and now you guys can see Saliba on my team instead of Kiwior. It's a little bit unlucky there. I guess if you guys did choose to be more differential, maybe that's how I should have looked at this. Who has the highest effective ownership? Maybe go for the more differential option, and that would have netted me 6 points. Otherwise, Neco Williams to get 2 bonus points after conceding just shows how well he played this fixture. Definitely a much needed Forest win, chasing those Champions League places. Then in our midfield department, we did kind of make a major error in terms of Asensio. The -4 plus Saar getting an assist meant we conceded 6 points here. So yes, at the end of the day, I should have not done the hit, just went for Saar. But I was quite excited by this Aston Villa fixture, and Asensio overall had a pretty decent game. It was a mistake though, I'm not gonna lie, those 6 points would have come in clutch. And then obviously Mbeumo got some points but missed the penalty. Up front, Isaac is the reason that Jacob Murphy will be coming off our bench. Don't exactly know if he's going to be ready for Game Week 38, which has put a spanner in the works. Ollie Watkins, who brought him in for Mateta, as predicted he was benched for Nketiah. If you guys kept Mateta, might have been quite tough watching Nketiah score a brace. Then finally Visa, the star of the show, still quite a differential, ended on 10 points. Just an overall very strong performance from the forward. So with Jacob Murphy's points, we're still on 51, don't worry, that's the final points, and as mentioned, a rank of 40k. I'm more interested though in how you guys are kind of heading into Game Week 38. Are you happy with your rank? If you're not, what differentials are you chasing? Let's go over which potential fixtures could hold some gold. So as mentioned, we're kind of combining the ultimate guide with the team selection at this late stage of the season. So let's go over those predicted clean sheets. So bringing up every fixture for Game Week 38, we have the color coding, green to grey to pink to finally maroon, just like FPL ranks their fixtures. Now this week we have some very strong matchups. You guys can see, for example, Arsenal at 43%, and they're playing Southampton. Now what I will add about Game Week 38 traditionally is going to be there's a ton of goals in it and not too many clean sheets. What I also would raise caution on are going to be these kind of away fixtures, because the home fixtures, it's their last home game of the season and they want to put a good show for their fans. So you guys can call it maybe a little bit more motivation to actually get the result. And for Southampton, this is going to be their last game in the Prem for at least a season. So no, I'm not saying that you shouldn't play your Arsenal players, definitely do, as they have a high percentage, but just take these percentages and obviously think about the Game Week 38 context. Other high scoring teams are going to be Newcastle 42%, Bournemouth 40%, then quite a big drop off Man City, Liverpool 32 and 30%. But most of these teams I would probably hope for a clean sheet, to be honest. I personally am looking to play an Aston Villa player like a Martinez with only 27%. At least that percentage isn't too bad, but probably not expecting those points. Now obviously teams to target, you can see Crystal Palace on 6%, so Liverpool are expected to score quite a few goals. Lightbulb going off for the Mo Salah captaincy. Then Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, newly promoted squads also not looking too great. Otherwise Everton surprisingly at only 8% clean sheet odd. I'd have probably expected that to be a bit higher, but I guess the context of Newcastle chasing the Champions League, and as far as I know, without some defensive players for Game Week 38. That's the kind of bonus about 5 Champions League spots, is there's a lot to play for, and that's why Nottingham Forest Chelsea might be a bit cagey. You guys can pause the screen if you want to, but I think let's go on to some more exciting numbers, and those are going to be the projected goals for Game Week 38. So bring up every fixture on screen and you guys are going to see the metrics are looking pretty strong, quite a few teams, even over 2.2. So at the moment, Liverpool at the top there with 2.65, so yes, Mo Salah could be the captain of choice for the majority of managers. Otherwise, Arsenal with Saka at 2.55. Very closely contested here with Bournemouth 2.5, Newcastle 2.45, then a little bit of a drop off for Brighton at 2.25. All these teams though projected to score quite a few goals, just hard to select who's going to score the most points. I mentioned that Forest-Chelsea game being quite cagey, definitely not going to be the most high-scoring game. And if you are looking at a Brentford or West Ham, not the worst projections. I definitely can see here that there are going to be a ton of goals scored though in Game Week 38, and I think the odds are kind of adjusting for that, the classic Game Week 38 goal fest. You guys can pause the screen if you want to right now, but now let's go on to kind of, has this changed any of my transfer plans and my team selections? I think I'm definitely going to be more attacking focused. Now while saying that, I don't think it's necessarily that bad to bring in a defender for Game Week 38, but just make sure as always, they do have some attacking threat. So now moving on to my team selection for Game Week 38, no transfers made here, but I'll definitely be making one with that 2.7 in the bank, just depends on some injury situations. Now speaking about injuries, today we had the confirmation that Saliba will be missing Game Week 38, and therefore unfortunately Southampton away. So he's going to be keeping Neco Williams comfortable on my bench, as that Chelsea game is quite hard to call, and I'll be benching Eze against Liverpool at the moment if I don't transfer him out. Between Verbruggen and Martinez, it's basically that Europa final coming up shortly. I'll be sticking with the Aston Villa goalkeeper for hopefully back-to-back clean sheets. Then I'll back 3 with Saliba out, Guardiola comes in against Fulham. Not that super hopeful of a clean sheet here, but Man City have a lot to play for. They still have to secure that top 5 position. Kiwior Southampton, I do kind of feel like Kiwior is nailed to play with so many defenders being out injured. Timber also going for surgery. Then finally Dan Burn, can he replicate the heroics of a few game weeks ago? Against Everton, the chance of a clean sheet is looking quite likely. Like Man City also have to secure that top 5 space, so I'm super happy to own him. Let's just see if Newcastle can pitch up. Then at the moment I've got the Campsey armband on the Egyptian GOAT Mo Salah. I won't lie though, after watching that Brighton game, my percentage of captaining him went a bit down. Just kind of feel like Liverpool at the moment, a bit all over the place. However, I think they will be training this week finally after being on holiday. And I do expect Salah and Liverpool to have a pretty good performance, getting the Premier League trophy in Game Week 38. Then I'll be starting Murphy against Everton. As mentioned, Newcastle have something to play for. Murphy has been ticking along semi-nicely, and therefore pretty comfortable playing him in my midfielder slot. At the moment, starting Asensio as well. However, if I do take Eze out, he'll probably be benched. United away is not the worst fixture in the world. I just do worry about potential expected minutes. With Ramsey back from suspension, there could be some rotation. I do kind of feel like he starts this one though. There are no worries about Mbeumo, at least I hope so. Is the main talisman at the moment, although Visa has been outperforming him. I wonder if he's still going to be on penalties. Wolves away, good fixture. I'm expecting quite a few goals from both these sides, as you would have seen on Tuesday for Wolves. Then up front, big question marks about Isaac. Will he actually be starting, or is he going to be injured? I don't exactly know if Eddie Howe's going to give us anything in the press conference. I am hoping that he's back though, because Callum Wilson wasn't fantastic and you guys saw the projections. If he does start, definitely chances of some goals. Keeping Ollie Watkins against United, it's going to be an okay fixture. I mentioned this but don't exactly know if it's better or worse to lose the Europa final, as that might just give them more passion to play well in Game Week 38. But at the moment, I'm not going to take him out anyways before this fixture. Same with Visa, both away games, but both pretty good ones. Our frontline all depends on if Isaac is going to be back to full fitness after this kind of injury, and that's definitely what I'm hoping for heading into my transfer plan. So if this was your team, what transfer would you guys make with 2.7 in the bank? Let's now move on to what my thoughts are currently. So at the moment, as mentioned, my transfer plan kind of hinges on if Isaac is going to be fit for Game Week 38, because if he's not, Evan Nielsen is a perfectly viable replacement. Even though Bournemouth didn't look great against Man City, they are playing Leicester at home, and that's going to be a prime game for a lot of goals. So if we get any confirmation, which I don't think we will from Eddie Howe in the press conference, Isaac to Evan Nielsen is a pretty easy swap, but let's wait and see what the upcoming days have in store for us. If we don't get news of a kind of Isaac comeback to training or anything like that, I do feel like Eze is going to be the player I replace. What that then means is I have Asensio as kind of bench coverage if Isaac does miss out, just makes me a bit more flexible for Game Week 38. Now my number one replacement for Eze actually didn't have a great Game Week 37, and that was going to be Kluivert. He came off at half time, which does make me wonder. It's not like he's being rested for upcoming important fixtures. Don't exactly know if he was actually injured, but has swayed me slightly more towards Jarrod Bowen. Now yes, I could go for someone like a Semenyo. I still feel like Bournemouth will score a ton against Leicester, but could Jarrod Bowen on penalties be slightly better? Now the current West Ham situation is we don't exactly know who's going to be on penalties. It might be Bowen, it might be someone like Paqueta, but at least Bowen has better expected minutes than Kluivert. The only thing though is Leicester at home is a much better fixture than Ipswich away in my opinion. I feel like Ipswich want to put on a good performance for their home fans in Game Week 38. So that's why I'm kind of having a hard time deciding between Kluivert, Semenyo or Bowen. Maybe you guys have a favorite in the comments down below. Now either of these two, if I do bring them in, I could captain them, maybe not Kluivert because of his expected minutes, and that's why Salah might be the choice for me at the end of the day. You guys also let me know who your captain is heading into Game Week 38. Are you guys going differential or are you going slightly boring? Definitely think Salah is the highest effective ownership this upcoming game week. But that is going to kind of finish our last video of the season. Thank you guys for your continued support. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I see you guys in the deadline stream coming up on Sunday. Make sure that you guys have notifications on so that you get notified when I do go live. You guys don't want to miss out on this one. But this is basically all of the video guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't like it and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Tons of content to come up in the preseason for next season. Otherwise, see you guys in the deadline stream coming up on Sunday. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.